What's good, Panther Nation? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I'm CJ.
And I'm your boy Tony.
And in today's episode, we take a look back at the press conferences from earlier in the week by Panthers GM Scott Fitterer and Miles Sanders. We also take a look at the Panthers cap space after the recent signing of Damiere Byrd. And for the second week in a row, there are claims about CJ Stroud's character. All right, let's get it. Tony, what's good? How you doing today?
Man, I can't call a cousin. I'm feeling good today. We're 7 days out. We're 6 days out now to the
Yes.
draft. It can't come any quicker. I'll be glad when it's over and done with, so we can move on to the
Mm-hmm.
next phase of this wonderful bit rebuild that Frank Wright
Yeah.
and the boards are putting together. But how you feeling today?
Hey man, it's officially go time. It's what T minus 6 days to the draft. So we are
Already,
officially under a week left.
yes,
And and,
sir.
and I'm ready. I'm ready. The more episodes we do, the more hyped I get. And I just and it's wild because on the first day of the draft, it's gonna be over and done for us just like that.
Just like that. Just like
Yeah,
that.
so it's as soon as it start, it's gonna be done for us until day two. But
Yep.
I'm ready. It's this has been the most excited that I've been for a Panthers draft in a long time. So, but yeah. But today we're gonna start off. I wanted to get into and talk about the press conference that Scott Fitterer did with Dan Morgan and Cole Spencer earlier on in the week, and just some topics about that. So we'll go ahead and start talking about that first.
Okay.
Now, the first thing that I want to bring up is, you know, everybody now is assuming that Bryce Young is the pick, but Scott Fitterer did say, okay, he did bring up that there are four quarterbacks, four that they're still evaluating. He said he said nothing has been decided. Okay. And so those four are Young, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson. All right. So he said they're still doing their due diligence. They're still evaluating everybody, and they haven't dialed it down to one person just yet. Now, me personally, I believe
Cap.
there is just thank you, took the word out of my mouth. I believe there's just a little bit of cap, and
Yeah.
if if they don't have anything done per se yet, I believe it's more narrowed down than they're letting us believe. So
Nah, I agree with that.
yeah. But one thing I will say, I do like the fact that they are, they're putting in the time, they're putting in the effort. And he also said, this is a really big decision, like really, really big. Like what they do Thursday night is going to set the tone for a lot of years to come for this organization. Hopefully a lot of good years for this organization.
Right.
And if they make the wrong decision, it could set the tone negatively for this organization for a lot of years to come too. So we'll see. Okay. He also talked about them trading up for the number one pick. He said that at this point they have no plans to trade the pick at all. Like they got the pick, they are set. Now he said they will always pick up the phone. Okay, if somebody call, they're gonna be nice about it. They're gonna pick up the phone, they're gonna listen. But whatever offer comes through is gonna have to make sense. And he just said sense, but I get the feeling, and this is just my thinking too. That offer would have to be just astronomical for them to decide to trade that number one pick. And it's got to be one of them offers that they can't refuse. So, but to me, it's good to hear that they got the pick and they're going to stick with it. So,
Let, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, what offer would be too good to turn down? When you factor in all that we gave up to get the number
Mm-hmm.
one pick. Now, in my opinion, it would be a catastrophic decision to trade that pick away when you are in the prime position to get the franchise quarterback for the next 10 years. Your quarterback, your decision
Exactly.
maker, you know. So if that is a possibility, which I highly doubt that it is, but just say that it
Mm-hmm.
is,
Yeah.
what kind of trade package could anyone offer you to say, you know what, I'm gonna trade up off this number one pick and fall back to second or third, or maybe even the fourth overall pick. But what would be the price? What would be the price in your mind that would get you
Mm-hmm.
off of the number one pick?
Well, we gave up our number one wide receiver to get the pick. We gave up another first round draft pick. Okay. And we did this
And a second.
in Yeah, and in a second. But we did this so we could get up there and get our pick of the top quarterbacks, because that was the main focus going into this draft, is a quarterback. Now, what I'm about to say is it would not happen. Okay, would not happen at all. But my thing is, if somebody would be dumb enough to do this, they would have to give us a top quarterback. And I don't mean anybody, that's been playing great for years and is into their career or whatever, but a young quarterback, starting to get into his prime, a number one receiver, and a first round pick. And like I said, that's not going to happen. But those are the things. We lost the number one pick. We lost our we traded away our number one wide receiver, and we want a quarterback. So I'd have to get all three of those if it was me, for me to even consider trading that number one pick.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, there's no way in God good graces nobody's going to
Mm-hmm.
bless us with that. Because why would you, if you got a franchise quarterback, why would you trade him to get the number one overall pick to
Yeah.
draft
Yeah. Like
another quarterback? That
yeah.
that shit don't even out in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
It it,
It's
it it
stuff.
doesn't.
It's stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to be able to read between the lines and see the smoke screen when it's being blown in your face. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Scott Fitterer, Frank Wright, none of the boys are going to come out and give anyone a peek into how they, of who they're going to pick,
Yeah.
what decision that they're going to make or anything. They're going to give the media just what they've been giving the media. They're going to tell
Mm-hmm.
you that all four quarterbacks are in the mix. They're not. They're going to tell you that they still evaluating this and that. They're not. This is 6 days away from the draft. If you don't have a conviction towards a quarterback, or at least just say two solid
Mm-hmm.
options, and this is day 6 before the
Yeah.
draft, then you're not convicted or sold on any of them. And I don't believe that to
Mm-hmm.
be the case. But
Yeah.
again, you're not going to go out 6 days before the draft and let the media, let the world know, oh yeah, Bryce Young is leading the way. Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
CJ Stroud is leading the way. They're not going to tip their hand. So
Mm-hmm.
all this false reading into what Frank Wright and Scott Fitterer are saying, like I, I guess I get it. You know what I'm saying? But for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing through all that. I promise
Yeah.
you, if they don't if they don't know by now, I would say by Monday for sure they know. Because in
Mm-hmm.
that press conference, I remember Cole Spencer saying they had 1,300 reports on that they had written up on
On
draft
player.
prospects. Yeah, and they had narrowed it down to
170.
170, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have narrowed your board down that far, because that's a lot to go from 1,300 to 170.
It
So
is.
out of that 170, you only got 6 draft picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when you got the number one overall pick, like there's nobody above you. You're
Mm-hmm.
it, numero uno. You have in your mind who you want to, you know what I'm saying, who you want to take with that pick. Now, you may not
Oh yeah.
let Bryce Young know or have let CJ Stroud know, but you know who you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
just my
I
opinion.
agree.
That's just my
But
opinion.
you know what though? One thing they did say, well, it was two questions that they were asked. They asked Fitterer that I believe kind of got everybody in this. Oh, that was it. Bryce Young is a lot. He's coming here for sure because they asked him about his height. Okay, and him and Dan Morgan were like, height is not an issue. Okay, Fitterer even went on to say that he's been playing. He's been the I guess I don't call him say he said short all his life, but he's been that size for a while
Right,
now. So he's
right,
he's learned how to get around and navigate and to play football at a high level as we have seen, at that height. So I think a lot of people took that one statement and ran with it. And then there
right.
was another one where I think it was David Newton who asked him about his size, and Scott Fitterer went on to say, like if they were to bring him in, there's things that they could do, to get his weight up.
They'll have
There's
a
they
nutritional
have
plan for them.
nutritionists,
Yeah.
and they compared him to Russell Wilson. They said Russell Wilson was about 205 or so when he got drafted, and now he plays at about 220. So
Okay.
that's another statement that I think everybody took and they ran with that too. Which
Right.
I mean, and you got to think about it too. If you are pro Bryce Young, and there are a lot of people out there, they're just in love with Bryce Young, and I ain't mad at him, because if he's the pick, I'm not mad at all. But
Right.
but you got some people that they're just he's it, and there should be no interest in anybody else. They're going to take that and they're like, oh my God, we just got our answer. That's it. Nothing else
Right.
need to be said. But like you pointed out, they're doing their due diligence, and it to me it was just a question that he answered, and I don't think that they've tipped their hat just yet. Okay.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Um. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was going to start another topic. Go ahead. What you say?
Oh no, I was gonna say like for me, it's never been about Bryce Young's height. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is his size, and
Yeah.
I remember when I was living in Dallas, me and Kyler Murray got our haircut at the same barbershop by the same barber.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you how it was the first time I walked into the barbershop and saw him, and I was like, and now this is his senior year of high school before he
Mm-hmm.
even went to Texas A&M, right? And I
Yeah.
was like, number one, there's no way he's 5'10" at the time because I'm
Mm-hmm.
5'7", and I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this dude and we like looking eye to eye, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I couldn't understand what was all the hoopla about this young cat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I got to see him play.
Yeah.
So no, I think this was his junior year. This was his junior year. I'm sorry, his junior year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got to see him play like 4 or 5 times his senior year, and I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Because in Texas, he playing 6A ball. He didn't lose
Yeah.
not a single game as a high school quarterback. He went 43-0 as a high school quarterback. Now over time, from his time where that 1 year he had at Texas A&M, and then he transferred to Oklahoma, and
Mhm.
he was at Oklahoma for 2 years. I, when Kyler Murray came into the league, people say, "Oh well, he was only 3 pounds heavier than Bryce Young," and I get that, But here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing: 207 on me as opposed to 207 on him can look different. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I'm 225. 225 on me, somebody who don't work out, ain't exercising, I don't know when. You know what I'm saying? Can look different on somebody that's 225 rock solid muscle, but don't even look 225, but is. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Yeah.
when you contrast and put the two together, with Bryce coming out this year, and um when Kyler Murray came out, they look
Yeah.
like two different body types is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Totally two different type of body types. Kyler Murray was rocked up, yoked up,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know, like he got a hold of a six pack of some Yao Ming and and some energy booster drink that improved by the FDA or something, and he just got swole all of a sudden. You know what I mean? But
Uh.
they said his weight was 207, but his size, he looked like he was more than 207. Bryce
Mm-hmm.
Young don't carry his weight in his upper body like Kyler Murray does.
Yeah.
So when somebody say Bryce Young, his size, is a concern, it's not saying that he can't play or doubt his skills. The tape is a tape. We seen what the
Mm-hmm.
boy can do, not only in college, but when he was at Mater Day, one of the top or the top high school in California. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's a baller. But like you said,
Oh
this
yeah.
is the NFL where everybody is a baller, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just a concern for me. It's just a concern, not taking anything away from his skills, not doubting him, not saying that he's not going to be successful, but it is
Mm-hmm.
a legitimate concern in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a legitimate concern for everybody because, I mean, hell, if he was 6'3", shit, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Right, right.
You know, if he was a few inches taller, we wouldn't even be talking about this. You know,
Yep.
at all. But I want to get over to our new franchise quarterbacks, new linebacker. I'm sorry, not linebacker, new running back. Okay, Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
And he had, I'm gonna switch over here real quick, and he had this to say about what he was asked, would this offense be easy for for the rookie quarterback to learn? And let me switch over here, and he had this to say.
How are you, David?
I'm great, man. I woke up this morning. I feel great.
Hey, Miles, David Newton, ESPN.com. What about this offense, the way it's built right now, would help a rookie quarterback compete right away?
Um, it's very everything. I mean, just breaking down the offense and installs each and every day. Uh, Everything just marries up together and makes sense. I say as for I think everybody's over here learning this new offense. You know, it's kind of similar to me just because I left a similar offense, but I think it'll be easy for a rookie quarterback to come in and do good right away because it's very simple. It's not I can't really talk off a quarterback standpoint, but but to me it seems very simple with the type of stuff that we're putting together and how it's being called and everybody knowing exactly what they like. The calls tell us exactly what we do, so it's pretty simple to me. But we'll see.
You've done pretty well.
All right. So now, like he said, he can't speak for a quarterback because he's a running back, so he can't speak from their perspective. But
Right.
does that give you any more? Um, Let me see. Does that make you feel any better about us having a rookie quarterback coming in? That Miles Sanders thinks that the offense will be easier for him to learn for his rookie year.
Well, yeah. When the Panthers hired Frank Wright to be the head coach, I wanted to see what kind of offensive system that Frank Wright runs. What did he run in Indianapolis, and what was he running while he was offensive coordinator in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
And The offensive scheme is the West Coast triangle read offense. And in that offense, it's very quarterback friendly because the quarterback doesn't have to read or scan the whole field. The
Mm-hmm.
base of the offense is basically you reading the middle linebackers.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
what makes it simple is if the linebackers flow not flow, if they sink back too
Mm-hmm.
far, then they'll hit a tight end or the slot receiver underneath, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you pull the linebackers in, then you can hit that slot receiver behind the linebackers, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So it's very, I'm not gonna get too detailed into it, but that's the premise of it, and
Yeah.
that's basically the basic read of the offense. It doesn't you so basically you keeping your focus and your read in one position, and it's
Mm-hmm.
based off of what those middle linebackers do. If they sink, if they fall back too far, you throw underneath. If they come up too close, you throw over the top. Simple pitch and catch, and then
Okay.
um a lot of time you have the tight end dragging one way, the slot receiver dragging another. The tight end might run a 5 yard cross or shallow cross, and the slot will run, a 7 yard, shallow cross right behind the tight end. And it's up to the
Mm-hmm.
quarterback if you can hit them dead center in the middle, or you wait to get a little bit more movement to the outside and hopefully create another window and you can hit either receiver then. But that's basically
Okay.
the kind of the premise of the offense. And that outside zone offense that Sean McVay ran and that he runs in LA, it takes the stress off of the lineman. It's not so much smash mouth football. The
Mm-hmm.
boys have to be athletic and get out and run. And your blocking scheme is more based on angles, is either
Mm-hmm.
to the left or to the right. You know, the left tackle, if he got a defensive end that's lined up in, the outside gap in the seven gap, then he can probably get a step and maybe get around him and block him in. But if he's lined up on it as a nine, as a wide technique, then you continue to push him wide, and then that linebacker could come off his inside of the left tackle and hit that hole. So
Mm-hmm.
that's basically what the wide zone is. When that running back first get the ball, within 2 or 3 steps, he got like 2 or 3 options to run to. Outside the left
Okay.
tackle or right tackle, inside the tackles, or cut back to the left or to the right. That's basically
Okay.
that's basically what it is. So I agree with him, and I'm just curious as to see how those two offenses are going to mesh when it comes to play calling. That's what I really want to see.
All right. Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So I want to get into our next topic, and like I said in the intro, for the second weekend in a row, there's an article that's come out about kind of questioning CJ Stroud's character, and it's wild
Bullshit.
because in the press conference, they did not ask him a single question about anybody but Bryce Young. Not
Yeah.
not not a single question. But let me get back on topic here. Um, so it was who was it? Brady Quinn came out and said that CJ Stroud basically ghosted the Mannings at the Manning throwing academy. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Passing
So
academy.
passing academy. Yeah. So they said it was like the night before he was scheduled to come, and he just didn't call, didn't show up, and brought up talking about some oh, this is demanding, this is royalty, is this NFL royalty, you don't do that to them, and all this and that. So then I did some digging, and there was another article that said that Stroud was a last minute invite the night before. He tried to work his schedule out, but couldn't do it. So he never officially accepted the invite. So
Right.
therefore, he didn't ghost anybody or just didn't show up. He got invited at the very last minute and couldn't make it. Okay.
Right.
Now it's still wild to me that we're getting this close to the draft and it's like week after week. Now all these things are coming out about about CJ Stroud. And you would think, and like the Panthers are they're doing their due diligence, and I know everybody is hearing this, everybody is seeing this. Now, what everybody's reaction to it is, we don't know,
Right.
but I just think that I don't know. I don't want to say it's anybody trying to purposely smear Stroud's name and character. But it just seems it just seems a little too convenient,
I,
especially it's happened 2 weeks in a row.
I wouldn't say that it's done purposefully. So they doing it
Mhm.
on purpose, but I will say they know what they're doing.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
these are grown men, and when you have to do things or say things to try to boost your channel
Mhm.
or boost your clicks, you know, it shows what's really more important to you. Like what source or what validity to the story? What validation did the story? Maybe validation is not the word that I'm looking for. Who's your
What facts
source?
do you have?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what facts do you have? Pretty much, what facts do you have for you to back up saying something like that as a former quarterback, as a former NFL player, that that is detrimental to any player, no matter what
Mhm.
the position is. These are
Yeah.
young men that are trying to get a job. They have been working and busting their ass for as long as they can remember to get to this point. And there was nothing or had nothing been said about CJ Stroud's character or anything until this
Mhm.
week. So you have to
Yeah.
ask yourself, why this week? Why?
Mhm.
Why Brady Quinn?
Yeah.
Why this week? But I saw that same story and I went to Twitter and lo and behold, Ryan Clark, who I have a lot of respect for, and
Mhm.
there's nothing that he has said thus far that hasn't had any truth to it. And
Yeah.
he basically said that CJ Stroud didn't ghost the Mannings, that
Mhm.
he didn't accept the invite because the invite was given to him late and he already had plans for other things.
Mhm.
So either Brady Quinn don't have the story straight or he know that is not straight, but still chose to put that misinformation or that BS out there. Either
Yeah.
way, it wasn't a good look on him, and it's not a good
Mhm.
look for anyone that's out there trying to tarnish a man's reputation and hurt his draft value for whatever your reason may be. Because I don't know
Yeah.
what his reason is, but whatever your reason may be, I mean, come on, man. Let's stop. Let's just
Mhm.
stop the games. You know, my thing is we like I said, we haven't heard anything up to this point. Up to this point, and I know there's 32 teams that have done their due diligence when it comes to investigating, looking into these players' backgrounds, especially when you
Mhm.
talking about the possible number one overall pick in the draft.
Yeah.
When you talking about handing someone 25, 30, 35 guaranteed $1 million, you gonna want to
Mhm.
know. And
Exactly.
I'm under the assumption that this is something that would have came up in those investigations. But
Mhm.
it ain't no NFL teams bringing this up. This is Brady Quinn. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave it at that.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. And and like I said, well, no, not like I said, but I'm going to say this. I'm sorry. I think it would be dumb if any team, okay, let's just say that it was true. Okay,
Right.
let's just say for the simple fact of saying that it was true. I don't think that would be just a full blown reason not to draft this kid. Okay, I would not say that. Oh, okay, well he didn't show up to the Mannings, and the Mannings are royalty. The Mannings are the Mannings.
Right.
Okay,
Exactly.
you got Peyton, you got Eli, you got Archie. They get up in the morning and they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like we do. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes, they are a really good football family, some really good quarterbacks, but I'm not gonna sit there and call them royalty and look at that and it's like, oh well, if that did happen, that's nobody should pick him up early in the draft just because of that. And like you said, I'm just gonna leave that at that. So,
I
but yeah.
digress.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
But last topic I wanted to get into, I wanted to give everybody a little bit of an update on the Panthers cap situation after they signed Demir Bird. Okay.
Okay.
S- So, Tony, if you would scroll down for me just a little bit. All right, right there. So, as you can see, the Panthers still have $26.9 million in cap space because they signed Demir Bird to what seemingly been the standard amount for the last couple signings. I think it's like $1.16 million. Demir Bird
Yeah.
got that. Gruger Hill got that. Henry Anderson got it. If I'm not mistaken, was Pennicini got it as well. And
Okay.
I don't know if Eric Rowe got the same one or not. But so Panthers are still looking damn good. I think now we have the third most cap space in the league behind Chicago and another team. I can't think of who it is. We were number
Number
one.
two.
Number
Yeah.
two now?
No, we were last time I checked. Last couple of weeks, we were number two, right behind Chicago.
Okay. I thought
Yeah.
I heard somewhere that we dropped down to number three, but even
Okay.
even still, I'll take number two. But now, they're going to dedicate what about $8 to $10 million for the draft picks that they're going to sign this year. So just say that still leaves us 16-18 million dollars, after the draft is done. Okay, and after all the picks have signed.
Yeah.
So I think that sets the tone. And if they still got anybody else out there in free agency that they want to pick up, bring in, um, the word is that they're waiting to after the draft to go ahead and give Brian Burns his money, go ahead and give him an extension,
Right.
which as we talked about before this, he's well deserved of. So yeah, I think the Panthers, I think they've done a masterful job at going from where we started when the season was over to where we are now, because they have brought in players, they have addressed um positions, but they haven't broken, they didn't break the bank on it. Okay.
Right. Right.
And like I've said before, the Panthers cap situation is going to be a lot better next year when you got a lot of this dead money that's not going to be on the books next year. It's not going to count against the
Right.
cap. So, you know, they did what they could do right now. They brought in talent, but they didn't. I don't think they overpaid for it. We still have cap money. Our situation is going to be better next year. So when you think about it, is if we play this season out and depending on how it goes, and they look at it, evaluate it, and see what we need going into next year, we're going to have a lot more money to spend on, whoever they deem that we need to bring in to help this team out. So I just say big ups to Scott Fitterer and everybody else who has worked their magic, signing players and did what they could do with the cap the way it was.
Yeah, Scott Ramsey and Guy Solomon.
Mm-hmm. It's got Rams. They,
Yeah,
hey,
they
he had that pot with him, boy. He was
yeah
cooking.
they're cooking. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
He been.
they have done a masterful job in maneuvering this salary cap. So, like you said, big ups, big kudos to them for doing their
Mm-hmm.
thing. Samir Suleiman working his magic, getting us
Yeah.
quality players, quality depth, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and putting us in position to get our franchise quarterback. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all on the I'm on this train with him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, before we get out here, Tony, you got anything you want to say to Panther Nation?
Nah, man, that was it. Like I said, I'm just waiting. 6 more days. You
Mm-hmm.
know, is going to is going to tell us a lot real quick. By us
Mm-hmm.
having that first overall pick, and I believe once that pick is over, I think Panther Nation will be able to have a sigh of relief. Take a deep breath
Oh
and
yeah.
let everything else, you know, after the draft start falling into place. I still believe there's a few more um, pickups that we're going to get in free agency. Players,
Mm-hmm.
quality players that are still available. So
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we picked up one or two more um, veteran free agent signings after the draft. But yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's it for me.
Yeah. And to add on to that, I don't think we're going to end up with only 6 picks in the draft. I call it a hunch, call it, what we seen Scott Fitterer do before. I believe we're gonna leave. What is it? Let me see. At the end of day 3,
Yeah,
we're gonna leave with more than 6 picks. So,
my
you
my
know,
my my
we'll see.
goal is my goal is, and I think it's realistic. I
Hmm.
say we could turn those 6 into 8, possibly 9 picks.
I think that's an achievable number. Yeah, 8, 9.
Yeah,
I think that's, yeah. They can do that. Yeah, they could definitely do that.
yeah,
Let's just hope that when they trade, they the return and who they pick matches what we need. That's all I hope.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, so far so good, and they haven't shown me any reason to doubt them right now. So I'm gonna roll with the
Hey.
punches.
Hey, that's what it is. All right.
That's what it
Well,
is.
Panther Nation, that's another episode with us here at Two Fans in the Stands. If you're still watching, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell so you know when our videos come out. We are at 383 subscribers, and I would love for us to be able to hit 400 before the draft or maybe during the draft. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, help us out, hit that subscribe button, like our videos. We appreciate all the love and support. We see you in the comments. And as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding.